everybody, and welcome to the To Be Honest podcast. Today I have two guests with me. David, how are you, David?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Aista.
Hi, I'm
we
doing
used to
really
be
good.
neighbors.
Yes, we were.
And it was our idea to start this podcast a while ago, but it was going to be completely different, and it was going to be in a hot tub. Remember?
Yeah.
When we had that discussion. It was three girls in a hot tub. Was it?
Yes, three girls, and we actually made a group chat too on
know.
our phones, and I think we were drinking wine in a hot tub, and that's how we figured it out.
That's how it started originally, and now it ended up solo because as we are women, independent women, we fucking fell apart, and then we just moved, and Shai moved, unfortunately, to Vegas. But anyway, we're here to discuss a bunch of interesting topics. It's a Valentine's Day episode. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so I figured we'd talk about dating and relationships and red flags and all that spicy shit. So let's just dive right into it, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about, do you guys want to talk about dating, relationships, or red flags?
I'd say, go into just the dating piece.
Dating.
Yeah.
So can I ask you guys, who's single here and who's in a relationship?
In a relationship.
I am so confused where I'm at. I basically just broke up with my boyfriend, and he still wants to be together. I moved on. It's complicated. Whatever you may call that. It's complicated.
So how is moved on and complicated? How do those coincide exactly?
Really,
Because usually if you moved on, there is no more drama.
yeah. It's a really good question.
It often lingers in this day and age. I feel like you break up, but I feel like there's some toxicity in the air where these men think it's okay to linger and kind of like get whatever they can while the getting's good, so to speak. Is that what he's doing? Are you guys still hooking up at all, or is it just
Great.
great? You don't have to talk about it.
No. So we're definitely not hooking up. We actually were not hooking up probably 2 months towards the end of our relationship while we were still together. He's not toxic at all. If anything, he's an amazing human being. He's, friendly, talkative, like just sweet, kind, loving.
So why did it end?
Pardon?
Why did it end?
Why did it end? I felt like I was a placeholder.
Oh no, honey.
Yeah. So I feel like we're getting to a point, and maybe this is just Miami, where people love to date, be seen, go out, yacht parties, dinner parties, and I feel like when we got together, it was all fun. It was all games, right? Like we had so much fun. We're going to these events and dinner parties and all this stuff. And then when real life hit, we didn't really have any common ground of friendship, the foundation.
Really? How long were you guys dating for?
Probably about 5 months.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's
No,
not too bad.
it's not serious. So so I broke up. I moved on from him, and we're just kind of like friends.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
how to explain
complicated.
it. It's just like we're friends. He's a good person.
Well, you don't know mood because you're in a relationship. How is that
Right.
going for you?
Great. Amazing. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I'd say kind of,
That's awesome.
trying
happy
to make it healthy, communicative, open, honest, real, genuine. And I'd say the first red flag, I'm just going to dive into red flags.
Dive in.
Because I see the big ones waving is, I've definitely kind of like had those hot and heavy relationships at the beginning where it's like you meet and there's this passion and it's fun and there's this like fun chemistry where you both enjoy the same kind of fun, doing the same kind of things. And it's that honeymoon phase where you're like all butterflies all the time and everything's la-di-da. And I find that that's the time where and I find it's really the guy. I mean, the girl can trigger it too and can be the one to instigate, but really it's the guy that has to really show that, like, I have real interest in you. I want to hear your opinions and perspectives on things outside of this little party cocoon that we've created for ourselves. And I think that when the party dies, so to speak, and it gets older, whatever the case may be, if you don't have that foundation where you have that like understanding and chemistry, and you've built something beyond just like going out and having fun, you have no leg to stand on, right?
That's so true.
I will add on to something. I feel like I got love bombed.
Oh,
That's what happened because
Right.
it was so fun in the beginning, and when I'm saying when real life hit, right, when we're going about how we're going to do one thing, how we're going to tackle a, serious situation, an argument, whatever it may be, right? It didn't work because I didn't really get to know him.
Right.
I got love bombed.
So my question is, because love bombing is very, very real, and it manifests itself in so many interesting ways. So my question to you guys, because I don't really know the answer to this, is, so a guy starts to do the love bombing thing. He's into a girl. He wants to make her happy. He wants to impress her. He wants to be attractive to her. And so this, to me, is really a natural mechanism that men have in attracting a mate. And it can be used, it can be weaponized, obviously, to an extent. But do you feel that it's like up to the woman to be like, okay, hold your horses. Let's take a step back and maybe get to know each other in that more meaningful, deeper way, as opposed to just you kind of impressing the crap out of me at all times and giving me everything I want because you want to be attractive? Is it on the guy to like be the one that has the maturity to say, no, slow things down. Don't go to that depth. Don't go that fast. Don't go that hard. Right now, it's not appropriate because you don't know her in that way yet, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take on that?
I mean, I think I've been heavily love bombed probably twice in my life. And I think the first time I was so young, I was probably like 23, 24, with this relationship that did me just wrecked me emotionally because I didn't know the signs. At the time I was so young and naive. It's not, the younger you are, the less, I feel like the more vulnerable you are to being love bombed and not seeing the signs. But as you get older, when we broke up years later and I moved on and I started dating someone else and he did it to me, I could see it a mile away what he was doing, and therefore I knew what to do. And I was like, oh, okay. I had control for once. I was like, I'm in control. I'm able to see the signs. Do you want to partake in this crazy, wild ride that he's about to put you through?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's never, I feel like the honeymoon phase, when they love bomb you, it's not going to last forever.
It's never sustainable.
It's never going to stay. So, like, you have to decide if this person, like you said, if this is going to be a maintainable long-term relationship or this is just going to be a hot fling and then it's over. It's like the flame is out after.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
whatever.
I think it's important from a communications perspective to just kind of be out front. Like when I was dating, on the first date, I'd be like, what are your intentions here? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Are you poly? Are you monogamous? Are you looking to just
That's a mature way of dating, but a lot of men don't say that to women when they date
and I'll tell you where I find there's a huge flaw in that behavior because so obviously the guy's going for the short-term win. Yeah. Right? He's going for the, hey, I want that short-term win. I'm going to do what I have to do, say what I have to say in order to get that short-term win. Yeah. And it's never sustainable ever because there's no feelings behind it and they're going to become resentful. They don't even know you that well. They don't even care. Anyway, it's right? But I find, True. And so what ends up happening is you end up in a miserable situation every single time, or you just end up looking like an asshole, or both. Right? As opposed to just be straight up with someone, give them the ability, the education, the knowledge to make a choice about about how they want to move forward with you as a person. Do they want to go down that road because you're right?
I don't know why.
You give
why
them the
can't
choice.
You guys just be
and
open with us and
the result is right. The result is you're with someone who wants to be with you in the same way that you want to be with them.
Yeah.
To circle back to your question, how you said, is it up to the women, right, to kind of put that stop or that yield sign in front of a man, right? What I will say is this: sometimes, depending on the type of guy you're seeing or the type of person you're seeing, right, I think sometimes, yes, we have to.
Yeah, we have to.
We have to.
I learned the hard way.
It's not I want to. It's like it's a must. It's a necessity. We have to. Yeah. Because I'd love to hear about how you learned about it, right? Because I ended up getting love bombed, when everything came out to show. I'm like, this is not going to be sustainable. Sure, he met my parents. My parents loved him. He's great, right? Awesome person. No complaints. But just not sustainable. And I don't want to be a placeholder, right? I think it's very important to know exactly what you want, the type of relationship. My mistake, I will say, is I was very open and honest with him about exactly what I wanted. He just had a different intention, right?
Oh, no.
So it's kind of like, what's that?
Did he tell you that intention, or was it kind of just you saw as you went along?
I saw it as it went along.
Okay.
Different intention.
Okay.
I just feel like it.
He never said it. Like,
Yeah. I found out, I would consider myself to have somewhat of a high EQ.
and you have that woman's wisdom. Like, women have their
That
wisdom.
intuition.
is
Yeah.
strong with us.
Yeah.
Totally.
You can
You guys are
sense
freaking
it.
witchy, okay?
We're very
You guys
witchy.
Witchy.
Yeah.
We're witchy women.
Dating's complicated.
You gotta be. You gotta protect yourself.
You have to.
What
You
we were
do.
saying earlier, protect yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's
Like,
right.
You
That's
know,
right. You gotta
protect your
protect your
feelings,
peace.
protect your heart. You have to be careful.
Right. But then you have to have that balance too, because like, so you protect because you get burned so many times. And
Yeah.
then when do you become unavailable? When do you become
Yeah.
unattainable? When do you become
That's kind of like where I'm at right now. I'm
Okay.
like so unattainable. Like, people try to take me out. It's sad. I'm like, I just don't want to get my heart broken. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'll fool around. Like, I hook up and I
Yeah.
have my affairs.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what they are.
Right.
They're affairs.
Yeah.
And they're fun. But like, eventually I'm going to want to settle down. I know myself. I loved, when I was in happy relationships that were long-term, they were so awesome. Aren't they great?
Amazing.
Aren't they the best? How long have you been with your girl?
About seven years.
7 years. Now
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's
It's
better than
amazing.
some marriages.
So nice.
That is.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry getting emotional
Yeah,
about that.
I
That's
know.
so exciting. And didn't
It's
she just have a
amazing.
baby?
Yes, he's just turned 11 months a couple days ago.
Oh my
on
gosh,
that baby.
congrats.
Yes, he's super exciting. He's
What's
so
his
cute.
name again?
Jacob.
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 Yeah,
Little
super-
Jacob.
Yeah, little Jakey.
See, that is just like
Yeah.
the American.
I love it, but I
love
want to hit on what
story.
you just said, because
Yeah.
and it touches on what we said before, that Miami is not a real place.
Miami's not a real place.
Not a real place, guys.
It's not.
It's not.
PSA.
And that's
Anyway.
another thing I wanted to touch on too. The
Yeah.
dating here, the dating scene here.
Yes.
I used to live here.
Yes.
You live in New Jersey,
New
so
York, yeah,
it's
New York,
different.
Jersey, whatever,
And
yeah.
then- but you travel
So
all the
yeah,
time.
exactly. So I'm back and forth, but what I find here is that, and I see this everywhere. It's like women. Like, this is the cliche, right? Women are out for men for their money, and men are out for women for
so
their looks.
sick of this
okay?
narrative.
And so what I think is that there comes a time where you've lived and you've done and you've seen and you've done
Yeah.
that for long
Conquered.
for long enough. And to realize that, like, the emptiness that ensues, because if you didn't focus on the genuine person, on the feelings, on the emotions, on the chemistry, on the perspectives, on building a life together beyond the bag, beyond your looks, like, there's nothing you're going to have except for emptiness afterwards. And the guy's going to move on. The guy's going to cheat. The girl's going to be resentful. The girl's going to probably cheat as well.
Oof.
And it just creates toxicity intrinsically, as opposed to going for someone who you genuinely like
genuinely
and want to
like.
be with, having those standards that we discussed
Having those
before,
standards,
right?
high standards. Keep your standards high.
Keep your standards high and make sure it's good and right. And
Yeah.
if it's not,
Your
don't
body
move
will
forward.
know. I really do
You know.
believe in your body being comfortable around someone, because
Yes.
I have dated men where I'm like, wow, like, even like the sex life will be phenomenal, but then outside of the bedroom, there's nothing. It's like a blank wall. Like, I'm talking and like there's no connection mentally, but like physically there is. You can't deny
Yeah.
physical connection. But you want, at the end of the day, you want to be around people that it's both ways, like physically and mental. Like, you
Right,
don't
because
wanna
I was
be-
going to say the
you're gonna
alternative.
be bored as hell,
No.
like, outside of the bedroom.
Exactly, because the alternative, if it's great chemistry, great friendship, but the sparks aren't there in the bedroom, it's also doomed for
That's-
failure as well.
But that's just a
Yeah.
friendship. That's
It's
just a friendship.
It's a
That's
friendship.
just
But if-
friendship.
But if you try to make it into something
You
more,
can't. Yeah, I know.
and it's not there, I have friends who have stayed with people for a long time who
For that
have been like,
reason?
I love her, our chemistry is so amazing, I feel so at peace around her, but the sparks are not there in bed.
No.
No,
Sex is not
that's
good, and it's
terrible.
super sad.
I
That's
refuse.
Super sad.
I refuse to live my life like that. I refuse to. Do not settle.
Yeah, there's no
Do
reason.
not. There's no reason. There's so many people in this world. Everyone deserves to be loved. Everyone will find someone that will love them the way they want to be
Right.
loved, the way they need to be loved, the way that they want to show love. Right? Talk about the 5 love languages. Right?
Yeah, the
Words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time. acts of service,
Yeah.
gifts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Figure it out, people.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Figure it
Talk
out.
to your partner. And that's actually what's crazy is my ex, and I promise you after this, I'm done talking about him. But after that, you know, I expressed myself, my love languages, the type of person I am, the type of lover I am, and the type of love I'd like to receive, right?
That's
Yeah.
important.
I expressed that to him. It went in one ear, out the other. What am I supposed to do with that?
So
Right.
I feel,
So
yeah, no.
You
it's-
got to communicate. You
well,
have to communicate.
Yes, and I feel that it's up to, like, for example, myself, if I meet someone new and I'm into her and I want it to go somewhere and whatever the case may be, I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to
Yeah.
learn this girl. I'm going
Right.
to figure out what makes her tick, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what her pet peeves are, what I have to do to make it a really ideal situation when she's around me so that
It's
it's the best
important.
possible situation and
Right.
so that she feels loved. Because to
Right.
me, words of affirmation are fantastic, but if they're not followed up with action that's commensurate with those words, the words are really meaningless and actually kind of
Exactly.
offensive. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're just gaslighting me and
Oh,
lying
yeah.
to me.
And
right?
saying how beautiful you are, but you won't hang out
yeah.
with me or something
Exactly,
like that, right?
exactly. Whatever the case may be, yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course.
That is.
But I do have a question though. When it comes to dating, right? If it's meeting someone on an app, organically, through friends, whatever, I love that you said you want to make sure she feels loved, right? And I love that you said that. But how do you know the other person's intent, for example?
You don't. It's a risk.
So at the end of the day, all we can really do is just communicate. You know?
Yeah,
That's all we can
exactly.
really do.
Exactly.
Communicate.
And but another thing also is a lot of people, they close themselves off, right? Like they have one failed relationship, maybe a divorce, maybe someone got cheated on or something, you know, tragic happened. But the one thing that I can say is it's really, really easy, or at least I'm a Cancer, to all the Cancer people out here.
Hello. Love my
Hey,
Cancers.
Right, we love Cancers.
Love the cancers.
But like I was saying, it's really, really important, I feel like, to be self-aware of also what you want, right? And the type of
yeah.
intent that you're willing to bring
Oh,
to
yeah.
somebody. So when I told myself, you know, I'm going to break up with my ex, now moving forward, I'm only dating with intent, and I'm going to make it kind of, not necessarily a duty or homework, but to ask the right questions, right?
Right.
And I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'll ever meet someone, but I am not giving up
I'm
hope,
sure you will because you're
Oh,
still
yeah.
young.
of
and
course,
beautiful
but
and-
you know how people say like, "Oh, I'm not gonna meet anyone. I have
See,
all these ex."
F
you
that
know?
attitude. I don't like that attitude at all.
Reason.
Like
That
you
attitude will
meet
get you
someone.
nowhere in
Manifest
life.
destiny. You manifest it, it will
Yeah.
happen. I'm telling you.
That's how
Later,
my
sooner.
best relationships
Sooner or later.
personally have happened when I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't actively seeking, and I was
Same.
working and operating
Focusing
on my
on yourself.
highest self.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
when they found me. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of my outlook on the next partner. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
having fun in my party stage now. I'm single. I'm having a blast. I'm dating here and there.
Yeah.
But when Mr. Right comes along, third time's a charm.
There we go.
Third time's a charm, baby. Like, I'm just keeping that attitude. And if you don't, if you're like, will I ever find a man? Honey, you won't. Not with that attitude. Let's cut the crap.
So, and you know, I think that touching on what you were saying before,
Yeah.
I think that it comes down to perceived value, right? So people that have the healthiest relationships have equal perceived value of what the other fulfills for them
Yeah.
in the relationship and their needs, to your point, whatever they may be. And it's really up to us, you know, it's subjective and objective to the person in the relationship to kind of make that little checklist in our minds of what are those things that bring value that are going to make me happy with this person, and vice versa. You need to probably find out what makes the other person have that perceived value in you, and if it doesn't align with what you're willing to give and what you want genuinely to give to this person, then you know you're on a road for disaster, and you're going to have to compromise, and to the extent that it may eventually make you bitter and then sad and then angry and then you're out.
And even resent the person.
Yeah, we don't want resentment.
I agree 100% with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's my thing. It's all about the value and being just aware and present and cognizant and just keep on checking that list. Like, is it being fulfilled? And if not, what am I doing to get there? Am I telling the partner, hey, this is missing. I need this to feel valued in this relationship the way that I feel that I'm bringing value to you.
Yeah.
That's a fair thing to do in a relationship.
Of course. You have to communicate.
Yes.
Fair.
Communication.
Yeah,
I
and
think
we
so
all come
too.
with baggage.
We all come with something.
Humans.
No one is perfect.
Right? So
No one.
you got to work with people a little bit,
Yeah.
but then hold steadfast when it comes to your morals, your standards, and your values, and make sure that you're communicating that and transactionally making sure that like there's a check-in in a little while, and what are you doing?
What are you doing?
To get to that point, or what are we going to do together? How are we going to
Exactly.
come to
Yes.
an upfront contract of some kind that we can work towards, right?
Yeah, you have to be honest from the beginning and the get-go about what you want and what am I getting from this and where are we going?
And is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Most importantly, is it worth it? That's super important.
Yeah.
Super, super important.
And Rosemary, I do want to kind of circle back. I just thought of what you said a little bit earlier that really spoke to me, right? We always want to be comfortable with someone physically and emotionally, right?
And emotionally. You want both.
I
Both
feel
worlds.
like listen to your gut. Have you ever guys ever dated someone, right, or were with someone where you couldn't necessarily express your truest thoughts? If you feel like that, run.
Run away. Run for the hills.
Run. Because if you can't express yourself and truly be...
Or if you feel like you're going to be judged when you tell someone,
Oh, the worst.
run, honey.
The
run,
worst.
Run,
The
run,
worst.
Run, run, run.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
say
Oh, no.
the last red flag like that
Yeah.
is ambiguity. Like I can't live with not knowing.
Not
Like
knowing.
you've got to be
Yeah.
upfront about your feelings and your emotions and your
Yeah.
intent and how you feel about this situation and me. Because if I don't know that, I can't make a decision about what I want to do with you.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't trust you, which is going to translate into the bedroom stuff.
Yeah.
And like it just
Yeah.
it's all so intermingled, you know, or
Yeah.
dependent, symbiont.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the more and more people that we, for example, see, date, come across in life, do you think they become more and more ambiguous, more mysterious because of our culture, for example? Think about the dating apps, right? Everyone's got a Hinge, a Tinder, a Bumble,
I hate the
Grindr,
dating
right?
apps.
Everyone's on the dating apps, or everyone's, oh, I'm going to run to this happy hour,
That's another
living
thing
their
I
life,
think.
right? Like being
Yeah.
ambiguous, not
Right.
because they are with intent being ambiguous, intentionally doing so.
Yeah,
Do you think maybe our culture has some sort of effect?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I really do.
So,
I hate the
yeah.
dating apps. I think they're ruining society. Like, I just think like it's warped dating. Like, I wish we could just go back to a time. Like, I mean, my parents were married for what, 15, 16 years. They didn't have cell phones in the beginning. They just were just, I mean, they weren't, when they had bad times, it wasn't like the partner was like swiping, like just looking for, now
Yeah.
it's like these,
Access.
they
You
have
so much
the
access.
access
Too
that we
many
have
options.
Too much
to options
access.
is freaky, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think it's commoditized
Yeah.
people. It's
Yeah.
commoditized relationships, and that's not the way it's supposed to be.
It's not natural.
It's not natural, and what it does is it cheapens the entire institution. So it's so easy to just like this and that. I'll tell you, when I used to date, when I first moved to Manhattan, and it was kind of when Tinder first came out, and I was on
Yeah.
Tinder, and it was
Yeah.
like crazy
It was like
times.
new.
Yeah, it's like
right?
everyone's on
I can
Tinder.
only
Oh
imagine.
my god, it was a shit show. Anyway, so I've dated a lot of girls who I felt had a real love-hate relationship with men. And after learning about their experiences with New York City guys, I totally understood where they were coming from. 100%.
One of my exes is from New York, and he was such a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, and you know what it is? New York guys,
New York guys are
listen to this,
something
guys,
else.
okay? You're making us all look good. Too good, okay? Step up your game. Be nicer. Be genuine. Stop lying. I know there's like
the lying.
and to be fair, okay, it's a market, and like
Yeah.
everything else, a market is a living, breathing thing, and there are so many more eligible women in New York than there are men. So the few eligible men that there are kind of given this like spread of like, hey guys, here's your candy store, enjoy. And if they don't see something that they like, there's another one around the corner. And
I
that's the
know.
mentality. But they're raised in this.
They're
and
raised
the
in
women
that.
are aggressive because it's real competition.
Yeah.
And they run after these guys, giving them even more fuel and ammunition to justify.
That's such a good way
This.
of describing it.
So I don't blame you guys. Like
Yeah.
I totally get it, but at the same time realize like
I
you
know.
can be better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had my fair share of New York and New Jersey guys, no offense. I mean, you guys are like.
Now, I'm from the Midwest. To be fair, I'm from the Midwest.
You're from
not from New York.
Yeah. Now you reside in New
Yes,
Jersey.
yes. Yes.
Can't really claim you as one of the bad guys. Can't.
No.
And plus, you're such a good guy.
Listen, no one's perfect.
But yeah, what else was I gonna say about that? Yeah, I'm done with red flags. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah.
We talked about love bombing. We touched on gaslighting. Is it possible, do you guys think, to stay friends with your ex?
We were just talking about this right before.
Back to my ex we go.
Is it possible to remain friends?
I really think it's subjective to the individual and to the relationship and to the people that are involved.
Okay.
And to what happened. What kind of beef do you have with this person?
Not
Because
beef.
if the beef is too great, I'm sorry, I don't want to be that. I don't want to feel uncomfortable around someone who I had something with like that. I'd rather just cut
them out
and move on.
Yeah, cut it.
Yeah,
you need
and
to
it's
cut
healthiest
it.
for everybody.
I really do believe that too. Just cutting it off for your own mental health, and that's another thing too. That I know this is a Valentine's Day episode, but like for real, like your mental health has to be in check in a relationship too, and that's not all on your partner. That's something I think people need to realize. It's all you have to check in with yourself mentally, like check like how you make you feel others. Like if someone tells you you're a piece of shit, like you can't be like, no, I'm not a piece of shit. Like maybe take into collection why they're saying that. Maybe you are. Like what did you do? Like look back and reflect at yourself sometimes. I think that's a good thing. I think more people should look back at what they're saying, and at these, when you throw out words and phrases and are talking at a discussion, these things hold remembrance. Like you're either adding value to someone's life or you're taking it away with your negative words. You know, like words have a lot of power.
Oh yeah.
Like you spoke of. Like,
and
really.
Remind yourself that your peace is yours.
Yeah, yours.
And what you allow people to do to your peace, that's on you.
That's on you.
If someone's getting to a place where it's like not okay for you, it's on you to step back. It's on you to distance yourself and to find your peace, because that person may not know or may not care or whatever the case may be. Exactly. So I that's kind of where I come from. There is like I hear so many women especially be like, oh, you know, he trampled all over me and he treated me like shit, and I'm like, and you stuck around for it. And you
stuck around. But I think that's a sad truth, is that so many women are sticking around these bozo clowns. Like, but I mean, they're probably gaslit, and there's probably like some history there that they just want, they're attached, they're what's the word, what is it, trauma bonded. There's probably a lot of history there. And that's why I stayed with one of my bad exes
with your
for years.
exes.
But after a while, like obviously I learned that was no good, and I cut them out of my life completely. And here they are today, just begging for just an open door. Can I please like watch the dog? Can I please like just anything? But isn't that the best revenge? Like, not to be toxic. Isn't that the best revenge when like you're doing good and they see it and you're like, well, you could have had me, but it's over now, because I've like a flower, I've bloomed and blossomed, and I don't know, I've moved on. And it's so weird to think that there's men out there that are like so upset when a woman is moved on and doing better. That why is that a thing? Like, why can't men just like leave it alone? And this is not just me. I'm speaking on behalf of some of my girlfriends too. Like, they're doing better, and then their exes are like, please, like, can I please just like hang out with you? Like, like they're just so desperate. Yeah. My ex be in my emails. He's blocked on everything. Like,
doesn't your ex try to contact you via Venmo? Like,
Venmo,
come on,
he will Venmo request me
come
$1,
on, guys,
and he'll be like, can I please talk to you? Like, unblock me.
Yeah, like,
email me happy birthday. I'm like, you're sick. Like, you need help. Like, I really think he needs to see a therapist. But I think men's mental health is so important too. Like,
oh my God.
And a lot of men don't acknowledge.
I mean, so this exact situation means that this is someone who wants to be with someone in a desperate way, who he knows does not want to be with him.
Does not want anything to do with him.
You have to understand the kind of trauma it takes for someone to be in that type of situation where they're so desperate for love from someone who doesn't even like them, where there's a whole, world of people out there who probably do love them, or they could love, or who have attraction to them and will make them feel good about themselves. And I think that you have to go to therapy. You have to get past your issues. Like, we all have issues, and to stalk someone or to do that to someone one is it's a little sick, and you're subjecting
sick.
someone else to your illness, and that's not nice either. So I just think you got to deal with your shit.
Deal with it and move on. And I don't know, does that have like to do with like mommy issues? Like, is that like a thing that guys deal with? Like,
oh yeah,
mommy issues.
For sure.
Girls are infamous for daddy issues, but can we just touch on mommy issues for it, because that's totally a thing. Like, it's totally a thing.
Yeah, no, I think that, God, being a mom is such a special thing, you know? And I think that as women, we all want our kids to have the best possible lives. And I think that sometimes our mothers enable us to pick up some behaviors that we may not have the accountability for that we should, because they're kind of picking up the pieces for us when we're little. And that kind of creates certain entitlements and certain to those types of behaviors that may negatively impact others, that may negatively impact yourself, that may not look so good when you're dealing with women in relationships or men in relationships, whoever you're attracted to, whatever the case may be. And so, I think that's really the root cause of a lot of the mommy issues out there. And I think that, now that I have a baby and I'm a little bit older, I can say, I used to believe that that you sleep train your babies. I don't believe in it anymore. I believe that your babies, if they cry, you take them out and you make them feel loved.
And you soothe them. We were talking about this before.
For the first year or more of your life, you can't. Because then they feel abandoned. They feel like there's no one there for them.
And they don't forget that that's long-term damage that you're probably doing to the poor baby. I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know, but my friends are starting to have kids. So.
And so I feel like that's another thing that can contribute to people kind of not having that
like
balance. Their real young childhood. That's just one example of many things that I think, medicine has to figure out. Like, guys, this is not best practice for us as a species. Love and coddle your babies till they're old enough to understand.
Yeah. On the mommy issue topic, I will say, though, everything comes from your formative years, right? So it might not necessarily be a mommy issue. It could be, a little boy was being bullied by his sister.
That could be it too.
Totally.
Resented her, resented all women, right?
Yeah.
Could be that, the boy was maybe abandoned by his mom or something like that. So I really believe of the type of person that you're going to be, the type of person that you're going to be in a relationship and what you're going to seek out, right? It all depends on your formative years, how you were, for example, like you said, right? Like soothe.
Yeah.
How did your parents soothe you? Were you loved, for example, when you were crying, right? Did they leave you in the crib?
Right.
All night crying consistently, or did they pick you up and cradle you to sleep, give you that warm?
I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. No, and it's funny though. So you have that, like, what you're intrinsically taught because of your upbringing and your experience, the accumulation of your life experiences. But then there comes a time where you're an adult. And you're educated, and you've seen the world, and you've seen how things work. And I think it's really up to us as adults to self-reflect and go to therapy, or have that friend, that springboard of someone that you can talk to, to just evaluate where you stack up in what you know to be best practice, what you know to be the right thing to do. Like, how close am I? Like, where am I? Am I above the line? Am I below the line? Am I just kind of straddling that line? And then it's up to us to kind of fill those gaps and improve. And it's hard. Change is so hard, especially change. If you're changing one of those real rooted, hardcore behaviors, it's so hard to overcome that as an adult. But I think it's our responsibility, no?
It is. We're grown adults.
Yeah.
I think everyone should get dumped and broken up with. And here, everyone's probably wondering, like, why in the world would
so aggressive?
Why are you being so aggressive? Like, why? No, but like we were speaking earlier, for example, right? Your girlfriend, boyfriend is gonna be saying, oh, you're a liar, you're mean, or you snore way too loud, or whatever it might be, right? Reflect on it, listen to what they're saying. Yes, you have to also kind of distinguish, right? Is your ex a malicious person, an evil person, just saying mean things? Or are they actually just saying the truth, right? Like, maybe you come off a little bit aggressive in the mornings, before your coffee. Maybe you should, whatever it may be. No, but seriously though, listen to your exes. And I think going through a breakup, either being the dumper or the dumpee, it's a good experience at the end of the day, as long as, of course, you know, there's no violence, no nothing, you know.
Yeah, I think just being mindful.
Nothing like, you know, traumatizing or illegal, right? But overall, I think a breakup is healthy because we learn, we develop as humans, as individuals. And not only do we become a better partner, but hey, also as a better law-abiding citizen to society, right? We become...
And you know what the truth is? I think that mourning is an important muscle to learn in life, to be able to mourn and move on in a healthy, productive, constructive, constructive, non-destructive way and it takes, like anything else, it takes practice. You know, you go to the gym to build your muscles. This is something that, again, only happens with practice over time, and it's hard to do. And so I think breakup is one of those things that it challenges you to step up to the moment for yourself and mourn the way that you need to, find out how you mourn the best. Like what are the things that help you get over and move on and take the good and shed the bad and go through that. Like, what is it about? And the older you get and the more you do it, the more you know what that means for you, and it becomes then almost a rhythm. Right?
Yeah. And I think being comfortable in your own solitude is something that a lot of people still have to master. Because I find a lot of people saying how, like, aren't you afraid of ending up alone and miserable, like somewhere just... No, not if you're comfortable being alone. I love living on my own and being alone. Like, I can't imagine having a roommate, or, I mean, one day I'll have a partner who I'll really love to live with, and when we can share space together that's comfortable and natural and just like a rhythm. Like, it's a rhythm. It's like a dance. Like, you just learn, like, and if you don't have that rhythm with someone, you have nothing. Like,
I got married young the first time around, and I can definitively say I got divorced about 7 years later, and for the first time in my life, I was really alone. And I chose in that moment, instead of kind of diving into something for companionship in the moment, because I missed the companionship. I decided to go through a really 7 or 8 months of like hardcore, I'm going to learn how to love me. And I'm going to travel with me and go out to dinner with me and go to movies with me and go shopping with me. And I really did all the things that I wanted to do unapologetically and suffer the consequences if it sucked and reap the benefits if it was awesome. And afterwards I could say that, like, now I'm ready to share my life with someone, and because I feel good about me.
If you're not good on your own, then how are you going to be of use to your partner? No, it doesn't make sense. You can't. You have to be comfortable on your own as a person, and then you have to add to their life, and just it's going to get boring if just one of you is.
Oh my goodness, set. Totally. And you know, David, I definitely agree on traveling. Right, my parents got together. They were also early marriage, 20 years old, married, right, with me. My mom had me at 22, so they waited a little bit before they had me. But my mom told me when I was 18, she's like, go on a trip alone. You're probably wondering, like, why would a parent ever say that?
That's bold.
So
my mom would never.
I ended up going to Colombia. I went to South America. I lived in Medellin for 4 months.
That's right. You told me about that.
Right?
I was like, that's crazy. Like, I'm part Latina, and I would like fear like being trafficked. Not to be racist or anything. It's just like, I'd be so scared to be on my own in another country where I don't speak the language. Like, what?
And imagine me, 18 years old, coming from a European background. I only speak English and Lithuanian. I don't know a lick of Spanish. So I get there, I don't know anyone. I'm there alone, right? I know I start school and everything, but my mom pushed me out of that comfort zone, and I asked her why, and she goes, because you need to learn how to be with yourself. You come into this world alone, you will die alone. Right?
Respect.
So when it comes to relationships, because you end up going through such a huge and scary learning curve about yourself, you can actually then bring all of these great qualities into a relationship and learn how to kind of, you know, manage a difficult situation, right? If it's with someone that, you know, you want to be with or you don't want to be with, you're going to learn how to deal with how to like handle those tough situations, right? And those tough conversations and obstacles.
But you're also bringing experiences with you, like into that's the beauty of dating and falling apart and being a mess and coming back together. The destructiveness of it all, the chaos, is you can bring these stories into the next. So it's not good to like just lay everything. Oh my God, that sucked. I'm miserable. Like, you won't be though. It's temporary. Like, pain is temporary. And that's really what I think people should really learn to embrace is change. Nothing in life is permanent.
And change, again, it's
even
pain.
A breakup.
Even a
change
breakup
is pain. The more you practice it, the less painful it gets.
I love change.
But it's pain. I love change too, but it took a long time for me to start feeling comfortable and not get anxiety.
I was
when
in the comfort zone for years,
right?
I felt. And once you break out of that and you're like independent and you go through that like feeling of being free and on your own and independent, it's so addicting. It's like, wow, you like want to share that eventually. Like, I'm very close to being open to sharing that with someone, but I'm like I'm just enjoying it for myself. I'm like not ready to share yet, but maybe someone will find me. You don't know.
I think part of it also is, and I remember the year of my life when it happened for me, and I consider it young. I was like in my late 20s. That moment where you really just stop caring about what other people think about you.
Isn't that the best?
Not to the point where you're gonna cause detriment to your brand. In terms of like your professional life, or even your values or your standards, or be a disheveled mess. But to the point where it's like, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be unapologetically me as long as I don't hurt and negatively impact anybody else in this world. I'm just going to be unapologetically me and not care about what other people think. And it's such an emancipating moment.
Isn't it?
And it's like this weight comes
freedom.
off where you stop living for everybody else, your parents, your kids, your siblings, your community, and it's just about being genuine and you. And when you do that, it attracts the best people.
It does attract the best people.
The best people. So
they always say that your Prince Charming or whoever you're gonna fall in love with, right? They come out of nowhere. Always.
They do. They just come out of nowhere.
Literally
they come out of the
nowhere.
You never expect them.
Nowhere.
You can be on the apps. You're not gonna find them.
No. No.
They always come out
I can
of
tell you
nowhere.
from personal experience, I've never met a soulmate off the app. I was only on one app.
Never.
And I hated that. I was like, what is this? Is so like I can't. I have to meet someone in person the traditional way. It has to be natural. It has to be through mutual friends. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
But some people love the apps. All my friends are on these apps, and I'm like an old woman. I'm I don't do the apps. Like, I just don't do
There are
them.
success stories from the apps.
Yeah, I've heard success
as well.
stories,
But I think, the apps came out, I think, initially really just as for hookups.
Yeah, for hookups.
Mainly. There are the eHarmonies out there that focus on the long-term relationships. And I mean, I know people that also have had huge success from that. Well, because that took a really old concept of a matchmaker, and it just digitized it, it modernized it, it made it so, because like, I don't know if you've been on there, I have a friend who showed me, it's like an 80-something questionnaire on eHarmony when you sign up. They whittle you down, and that algorithm to match to the perfect people that they think are the most compatible, just like a matchmaker would. And I think that's really beautiful and nice. But then the Tinders of the world came out as like it's a hookup. So
but
I don't
think
have
for
to go
those apps,
out,
like
right?
you only have to put like your name and your pics.
Oh
and
and
like
putting nothing about you, literally.
like that's it. Like.
Well, because and that just shows you how much they think their audience is going to care about more detail than that. Like,
that's why
I
it's
don't
only
care.
A swipe. Like,
it's just a swipe.
Just a swipe.
Yeah, and you put what you want in there. You do a little cute line, and you're pretty much done. And listen, people have success nowadays. It's all a bunch of fake. I've heard because I've been off for years and years. But like back in the day when it first began, it was wild, wild west. It was freaking nuts.
I imagine.
It was nuts.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it created real toxicity in our society. Because again, that commoditization of sex, where you're getting you're getting what you should have had to work for, and because you didn't do the work for it, it's not going to be as good. Yeah. Because the best sex is always with someone that you really love and genuinely want to be with, and like you have that real connection with, and you're never going to get that from someone on like a Tinder date type situation, unless it turns into a real thing. But like that hookup life, you're never going to have that quality of an experience like you would if from an eHarmony. Yeah. Never.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I have lots of girlfriends that are on the apps too. And I myself,
where else do you find the men? They're all on
the dog
apps.
park.
Or the dog
Go
park.
to the dog park.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Ooh.
Home Depot. I heard, did you guys see like a TikTok? It was like something about act confused at Home Depot.
Yes, go to the lumber section.
Yeah, the lumber section, just act confused.
Act confused, exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah, no, but listen, At the end of the day, yeah, you're right. You know, people will have their success stories, but I feel like the most important part in life is just be happy, you know, live for yourself, kind of put the stressors away, and that special person is going to come and find you. And they're going to come out of nowhere, and you're going to be like, wow, oh my goodness, I'm so smitten. Like, you know, we're kissing, and there's fireworks in the background, right? That's what's going to happen eventually to absolutely everybody. Yeah. Everyone is deserving of love. They're going to find it. Just don't put so much pressure on it.
Yeah, don't put so much pressure on yourself or love, and
be aware. Be aware. Reflect on your relationships.
It's kind of like a career, you know. I guest lecture at some business schools in Manhattan. It's like a career. I'm going to explain. Yeah. So basically, like a lot of these college kids in grad school, they'll ask me after class. They're like, so how do you like make the first move? What should I do? What should I base my decision making on? And I just tell them, I'm like, you know, you're going to change your mind 100 times, okay? You don't know what the hell you want right now, unless you're going into like medicine or law or like something specific. I said, just do something that you're passionate about, that pays your bills. You don't even have to be that passionate about it, but it pays your bills, and it's something that's going to give you skills. And just go. And doors open, roads swerve, they go and relationships are the same exact way. And you're going to meet people, you're going to lose people, and you're going to meet other people, and you're going to find some that you know, there may be those that got away, and there may be the ones that should have gotten away, and then and then you're going to learn, and you're going to build this model for yourself and this kind of strategy and approach to approaching like a career, your life, and building the tools in your tool belt to be as valuable as you want to be to the person that you want to be with, and then hopefully the person that you meet at that time. Also, it's about timing and logistics.
Do we believe in perfect person, wrong time?
Totally.
I personally, I don't.
Totally.
I don't.
No?
It's the wrong person.
So it's the wrong person.
Wrong person.
Interesting.
There's no wrong timing.
So, but what about serendipity? What if the cosmos dictate otherwise, and somehow you come back together, or it keeps throwing you back together, and it's wrong logistically?
I love the concept of serendipity.
I love it. And listen, there's outliers in everything.
Of course.
There's always an exception to the rule. I'm not saying necessarily it's the rule. No. I just personally, I don't believe in it. I think there is a reason why this person was placed in your life at that specific time, and you're supposed to learn something from it.
That's true.
Whatever it may be, right? Have you ever heard of this saying? It's super cute. Everyone that you meet in life is either a lesson or a blessing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
I like that. So
absolutely.
I personally don't believe in it. What about you, Rosemary?
What do I believe in? What, lesson or blessing, or do you believe in serendipity?
No, the perfect person, wrong time.
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
It's hard for me to because I'm thinking of a past situationship. That's why I'm like reflecting so hard.
Yeah.
I really can't say. I don't know. I would like to say what you said. Like, I tend to agree with you. Like, I mean, I really think like you can just just the timing just isn't right.
Right.
But it should have, like, in another parallel universe, it could have been perfect.
Yeah.
Crazy movie that I watched recently, Interstellar with Matt McConaughey.
Sorry
guys, I'm Lithuanian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey.
I love him.
Yeah. No,
if he ever watches this episode, I love you so much.
And I am so sorry for butchering your last name.
That too. He's the best.
Too. No, he did a fantastic job in that movie. That movie it's kind of like going back to that, right? With the dimensions.
It is. I actually was blessed to see that with my daughter when she was like younger, and it was the best daddy-daughter movie
isn't it so,
ever.
Isn't it?
I was just I was so blessed to see that with her, and I totally agree that there is, I believe, right person, wrong time. It definitely exists, but by that I mean. So there's the business of being in a relationship. Okay? Relationships are not all love. The logistics matter. Like those details make a difference, and people can have energies that are so chemically intertwined and alike and be so good, but like I can give you so many examples. Like you live in a different country, you're not available, you can't fulfill the certain things that I'm looking for that are like not things that I'm willing to give up in a relationship, or I just don't see things long term, or you want a kid and I don't, or there's just so many logistical things about it. And to your point, I think that love should be able to find a way. In theory, love should find a way. If you're dedicated and it's real and you have the means to sacrifice for it, love should find a way. However, we live in a society where there isn't a lot of that.
It's complex.
It's very complex and dynamic, and love is dependent on a lot of other things that may not be just you and me.
Yeah.
There's other peripheral things that impact that. And I think that by allowing that to happen, the love should find a way has gotten weaker over the years, unfortunately, right? Those passion stories that you read in the books and heard about from your grandparents.
Disney movies.
Right. He came to me, World War II, and he found a way and he made it back. Like you just don't hear about that kind of passion anymore. And I think the guys aren't willing to sacrifice their lives for people that they feel are commodity, and girls aren't willing to sacrifice on their dream, as they shouldn't. So it's this juxtaposition of love will find a way, but I need what I want for me to be happy and for me to be good for you as well as for me. So I kind of see it both ways.
It's tricky.
It's
tricky stuff.
It's
tricky.
a very deep. It's a very Hearing a lot of your points on it, I agree with a lot of what you said, right? But then I also makes me reflect. Man, maybe there is that perfect person, wrong time, but it's one of those conversations where we'll never know, right?
We'll never know.
We'll never know, but we just gotta be hopeful and like keep on striving for it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to a cost-benefit analysis.
Okay,
really?
Let's hear it.
Right? So, like, what is it going to cost you to make this thing work versus what am I going to get? Right? And if the answer to what am I going to get is I'm going to get my dream, my utopia, my world, then the cost prioritization really doesn't even have to happen. It makes no difference. I will spend everything. I will give everything for this utopia on this world, because YOLO. I only get because YOLO, right? So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna quit my job, sell my house, move to another country, sell all my shit, do whatever I'm gonna have to. All right, because this is gonna lead to perfection.
I love that energy.
To fulfillment in my life. But that's
the stuff of romance novels, though. I love it personally, and I've offered that to one man in my life previously. I was like, I'll give up let's just do it all.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what I did for work, because if he watches, it'll be so specific. But let's just say it wasn't it was more. He traveled a lot, so it was going to be hard to
be together
because of what he did for work.
Right.
And I don't know. It's tricky. But when you find someone that you wanna, it's rare that you wanna. I was ready to give up everything for him. It just.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean,
How
you know
old
what
were
it
you then?
was?
Yeah.
This is like 2 years ago.
Oh, so this is not that long ago.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's like it wasn't gonna work in his profession.
Do you think that people often try to like fit a square peg into that round hole when they find like certain things that they just
That's what I think.
drop?
I was I was delusional because even he was like, whoa, like let's calm down.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm like in love with
Yeah.
something. But honestly, I think it came down to sex for me.
Okay.
The sex was so phenomenal that sometimes I think the sex can be so good that you can perceive in your head like I could have a relationship with him and his babies, but bitch, could you? Like, are you really just thinking? Where are you thinking from? Like, oftentimes I feel like a dude because I'm so sexual that I'm like, sometimes like my mind gets away from me, slips away because I'm just enjoying the person physically so much that like my emotions are like running so fast, 1,000 miles per hour with this person. Because I'm like, I can see a future together, but really, or is the sex just really, really good?
Yeah.
That's what you got out of
And
it.
and I think there's this like misconception that like guys are like the hornier of the genders.
Oh, no.
I will
Talk
tell
to
you
me
right
for
now,
an hour
I will
and
tell you
find
right now
out.
that that is not the case. The difference is that women, for them, the emotions are intrinsic to the fulfillment that they get sexually or the amount of trust that they can have with someone in those moments, whereas guys don't really have that. So a woman will hold her standards and hold her morals and hold her values because she knows that it's going to lead to ultimately what she really truly is going to be happy spending her time doing, as opposed to a guy who's going to get the same end result almost all the time, and therefore doesn't have the same criteria that drives those types of decisions, but they should, right?
Yeah.
If a guy had the same like holdout standards as a woman, right? Oh my God, the world would be such a better place.
The world would just be like ass backwards.
It would be ass backwards.
So different. I don't know.
It'd be crazy.
I can't imagine.
But yeah, and so it's funny because like I have conversations with guys about this type of stuff all the time. They'll come to me for advice about women, and I'll explain to them. I said, it's really a sexual maturity thing, guys. Like you just aren't seeing sex for what it's supposed to be. You don't go out cruising for sex. You go out cruising for experiences and for making moments and living life with people. And if that leads to something because it's natural and like that's what we're all feeling, like that's great. But if you go out with the notion of I'm going out to get laid, you're gonna show someone a bad time.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I definitely think females are much more sexual.
Much.
Or at least have a higher libido. Because let me tell you, I've only been in 2 relationships in my entire life, adult life. I'm not going to count high school, but I've always had a higher libido than my partner.
Maybe that's why we get along so well, because we love swapping stories. All like, what did you do last week? And I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I love hearing your stories. I know you have a high libido. I know.
I just enjoy with what God gave me, right?
I mean, we're in our 20s, so we're just like, wow, what did God give us? This is a great gift.
This is great.
This is awesome.
Right?
You're learning yourself, and that's another thing. I think in your 20s, you're still discovering new things that you like, like stuff that
it's important to be
Valentine's
just
Day.
open.
Let's be spicy.
Yeah.
I recently tried BDSM with my last partner. What was this, 2.5 years ago, something like that? And it was one of the best, most erotic, beautiful moments of my life. Can I just say that? And it's like, I would have never, 5-6 years ago, I would have never thought that was like up my alley. But with this partner, I felt so safe and so trusting of him that this was totally like, I'm like, really? And it worked, and it just was so amazing. And I think that's beautiful, is trying new things with your partner too. Like, make it spicy. Like, I had no idea that was on the agenda, and one day he was like, boom, let's try it. And I was like, why not? I had the trust and the willingness, and that's another thing too. You have to be sexually open and not boring. That's another thing to, I think, making a relationship last, is keeping it interesting.
Keeping it interesting.
I brought a woman into the bedroom
you have
once.
to. There you go.
I think it's so important to keep it interesting.
You have to.
Think about it, right? When you get married, when you're with your person, if you're dating, short-term, long-term, doesn't matter, and you're gonna be having sex all the time, right? So change it up.
Yeah.
It's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
It's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Add some fun toys, add whatever else you need to mix it up. I just, also, about 2 years ago, I completed one of my really cool fantasies that I've always wanted to do with my ex-boyfriend, and it was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy.
What was it?
So,
I was just saying, you want to tell us about it?
No, I will.
Okay.
I won't give too many details, but apparently there's this specific material, it's like a tarp, that is like oil resistant, right?
Oh, like the splash blanket?
I guess that's what it's called. I don't know.
Shout out to Splash Blanket. They follow me on IG. Send me a blanket. Send me it.
Me too. I might need two.
The Splash Blanket. I don't know why they follow me, but respect.
Yeah, no. So my ex and I, we ended up getting a tarp and, a bunch of oil, and we just went to town. It was one of the best times of my life. I recommend it to absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wet and Wild?
Yeah.
Hashtag.
It was so fun.
Slip and slide?
Yeah, it was a slip and slide, and it was so fun.
Naked Twister?
Awesome. No,
what?
Hello.
Maybe that'll be next on the agenda. Naked Twister.
Naked Twister.
Yeah, no, but keeping it interesting, I think, is definitely and spicy and provocative, right?
Yeah.
Push those limits. Be provocative. I feel like in this world, especially now in the digitized world of swiping and whatever, that skill, that character trait of like being provocative in a moment and knowing how to do it in a tasteful, non-cringy sort of non-creepy way, and making people think, pushing people's limits to an extent that's, you know, maybe out of their comfort zone to an extent. Life's boring without it.
Yeah, and life's short. Like,
life's
why not
short.
just bring
Like, what do you have
everywhere?
to lose, you know, to try something new, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
I
barring a
agree.
few things, but.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? You'll be even more sexier and confident for yourself.
Oh yeah,
I
you'll carry that energy forever. You'll
Yeah.
feel that confidence and
You'll
that
feel
energy.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, when I told my girlfriends that I was dating the guy that I brought the woman home to, I mean, they were like, "How could you? Didn't you love him?" And I was like, "That's exactly why I brought another woman into the bedroom, because I trusted him and I cared for this man." And I was like, "Where's he gonna go? From me to what? Like, is he gonna leave me for the girl I brought in the bedroom one time? No, you got to be comfortable with yourself." And I was that confident with him, and I was like, "She's hot," and he was like, "You think so?" And I was like, "She's so hot. Like, let's bring her home." And we brought her home. We had a blast, and she left, and everything's cool and gravy. Like, it's fun to switch it up.
Yeah, that brings up a really good, you just kind of brought up my head here. So do you feel that, so the kinds of guys that you're going for, okay, which is, you know, you're going for the A-type 1%ers and up, do you feel that there is such a thing as a relationship like that is truly monogamous? Like, do you think that guys are never gonna, like for the most part, obviously 80-20 rule, like, do we feel that because of the imbalance out there that these guys are incapable of being with one woman?
I think 80% of men are going to cheat on their women nowadays. And I think there's a 20% that I've seen in my experience that are so loyal.
Right.
But they might want something extra from their partners from time to time, like throw them a threesome or something.
So what's your feeling? Do you feel that as a guy, that because of that like natural, that natural yearning animal, you know, instinct to spread your seed, to
that's down to
like,
scientific biology. So that's why.
Right.
I say this.
So I, you know, I feel like a lot of women are a little bit delusional. They get into a situation with certain types of guys and feel like, oh my God, he's in love with me. He's never going to touch another woman for the rest of his life. And it's like, girl, are you stupid? You, like, girls are throwing themselves at him left, right, and center.
And there are strip clubs.
And there are strip clubs, and there are business trips, and there are islands
Golf
and beaches
trips.
and
Kinda
golf trips.
inevitable.
Yes.
And like, is anyone really going to toe that line? And as a woman, do you feel that it's something that you just need to suck up and come to terms with if you want that kind of life?
I mean, I guess so. Every couple is different, though. I know a married couple that I really think that her spouse will never cheat on her. But, I mean, I don't know. In my parents, like, my father never cheated on my mom, which is very strange. Like, looking back, it's strange because I'm like, how did you not want to? But I guess, you know, that's the old-fashioned way of dating.
Yeah.
Like, they just loved what they had at home. But now I feel like there's porn addiction. Like, I feel like sex is such an available, easy commodity, and that's why I think there's so much cheating going on. I blame porn. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of blame porn.
I think I agree with you 100%. Porn is horrible.
Horrible.
It desensitizes you. You'll watch it.
Yes.
Then you get with your partner, and
Yep.
you're like, I'm not feeling that excitement, that spark that I felt by myself,
Porn
right?
is it's like, I don't know, it's
No,
edited, it's faked, it's heightened, it's dramatic. These
Curated.
girls, it's curated.
It's
not
curating an
real
experience that's
life.
supposed to be
It's not real
not
life.
curated,
Yeah, it's not real life.
right?
Yeah, and think about all the, you know, for example, getting a condom, right? It's never displayed in porn, right? Oh wait, hold on, let me go look for a condom.
Yeah, no, the real
Like,
deal of sex.
Yeah, no, it's not a
you know,
realistic.
It's not real. It
And-
doesn't go down like that.
No, but
No.
kids are learning. Like, this is how kids are learning
That's
about
horrible.
sex, and it's their first experience really is like porn, and they see something that's not real, and then they try to reenact it with a person, and the person's like, "Whoa, dude, that's not
What are
real.
you doing?
What are you doing?" And that, like, you know, that also gives men, I feel like, the notion that women are things that they
like we're toys to be played with.
right.
Like,
Or every woman likes what
certain-
you see.
Yes.
You know, right?
Yes.
Like every woman, for example, likes BDSM. Right.
Right.
That would be
It just-
maybe not everyone,
No,
right? Or
right.
a slip and slide.
yeah, if that's your
Maybe-
thing.
Yeah, not everyone.
Tarp.
Tarp.
A tarp. A sex blanket.
The sex tarp.
I mean,
oh my God.
Definitely not. And, you know, when it comes to cheating, what is cheating, right? Is it answering a DM on Instagram from maybe a girl that you think is pretty, and your significant other will consider that cheating, right? So maybe that 80% is higher, depending on the person, right? Because what is cheating?
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
or is it kissing and going all the way?
Right.
Or is it just holding a hand? Like, what is cheating?
Yeah. No,
every couple is different.
Every
Everyone.
situation is going to be different, but I feel like there's this overarching sense of delusion amongst women, and I feel like what that does is it creates a space where men don't feel safe expressing that, hey babe, I'd love to, you know, I'm going on this business trip and there's this other person that's going to be there who I kind of am into, and I'd like to pursue that. I think like men are deathly afraid of having that conversation with their
and
girl.
most of the time they won't.
They won't.
They won't. They'll just go on that business trip and they'll do it.
But in a perfect world, as a woman, wouldn't you want your man to have the comfort, to be in the comfort zone and trust zone, to be able to come to you with something like that and not feel judged and not be shit upon? But again, that comes from upfront. What has your relationship been? Are you in a monogamous thing? And did you discuss upfront, like, hey, I may deviate? And are you okay with that? Or are you supportive of my deviation? Or whatever the case may be.
Supportive of my deviation.
We're going to pivot here a little bit.
Yeah, no, I just don't know. I just don't know, like, what's the healthiest place to be for a woman in a relationship like that? Like, to protect herself, to be as realistic as possible, to make him feel like he's in a trusting, safe space so that there is that open and honest transparency. What do you guys think about that? I don't know, like...
If I'm with someone and they tell me, hey, listen, I found someone else that I would really want to try XYZ out. Personally, I'm a very monogamous person. It would be hard for me, but I definitely want that type of relationship, that honest, real relationship. My parents, for example, I'm 26. My parents have been married for 28 years successfully. They have never once talked about a divorce. They're super happy and in love. They go on trips together. It's beautiful.
What's their secret?
I want their marriage. And you know, I tell my dad he ruined dating for me because he has such a high standard.
But that's good. That's a good thing.
He will literally build a temple for my mom if needed.
Oh yeah,
right.
My dad was the same way.
Amazing,
so giving and loving, and physically.
And we got lucky to see that and experience that.
Absolutely.
That's
growing
beautiful.
up.
My dad was physically handy around the house. Like we didn't have my dad was like the mechanic growing up. My dad was able to fix and
Mine
plumb.
too.
Isn't that So they thanks Dad, you ruined our standards.
Dating.
You ruined our standards of dating. Because now it's so odd when I date someone and they're like, they don't know how to be handy around the house.
Change a tire.
Or assemble furniture. And I'm like, how can I assemble furniture and you don't know how to do it? Like, it's kind of a turn off. It's kind of an ick. Like when a guy doesn't know how to do certain tasks around the house.
Oh my goodness. I have a very interesting story to that. So I had a little bit of a run-in with my car. I don't know, some sort of car issue. And my ex and I, we took it to Advanced Auto Parts. I think they can check your battery for you to make sure if you need to replace your battery. So I pull up and he gets out of the car and he's like trying to open up the hood in front of the AutoZone employee, right? Can't open up the hood of my car.
What kind of car do you drive?
Like an Audi.
And he couldn't open the
hood. Like, you know, when you...
The little latch in the front.
Yeah,
you have to know where the latch is.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
I lifted the latch.
It's a little latch, right?
Okay.
And then...
No, not in the car. When you lift up the little hood, there's a little thing you got to press, thing, and then it goes up sometimes.
Well, he did not know that.
He may not know that. Yeah,
he did not.
Listen, was it a new car? Maybe he didn't.
It was, but here's
okay,
and
so
this is
fair.
And this is where I'm starting to question, right? I totally understand if you didn't know, but he is an engineer, a mechanical engineer. What are you learning in school?
What are you learning in school?
My dad was a mechanical engineer, and that man could literally build a car with his hands.
It's attractive.
And listen, I don't know how to do that. I didn't go to school for that. I wasn't, I was raised very traditionally. So my mom only taught me how to cook and clean. That's,
Yeah,
that's how I was raised. I only know how to cook and clean. And my dad handled everything else. So when it comes into dating in this modern, world, especially being in Miami, where it's a super huge transient scene and city, right?
Yeah.
People are constantly going in and out from different types of countries, cities, Caribbean, South America, right? Europe, etc. So when it comes to dating, it gets tricky, right? Because the expectations that you're brought up with and then what your partner was brought up with. Right. How are you guys gonna kind of merge that together, right? And make it work. So for me, it was a little bit interesting that he didn't know how to open up the hood of the car. But you know what? I saw past it because he knew other things, right? So you just kind of got to pick and choose, right, with what you're going to accept or not accept.
Yeah, no, and I think that there may be those times, especially at the beginning of a relationship, and I tell people this because like people come to me and like, oh, I just met this great guy or girl, and but this and this happened, and like it really like gave me the ick. It really turned me off. And I always tell them, I'm like, you're being a nitpicky little diva right now, right? Like if you were a year or two into this and you were in love with this person, this thing that happened, you wouldn't even be noticeable to you right now. But because you're kind of going into things, you're kind of gonna highlight and you're gonna exacerbate things that you feel are major, like oh my God, you can't open the hood of a car. What kind of engineer are you? My dad was the best. You're gonna like blow it up into I can't be with this guy. Right. Whereas it's like, all right, like he couldn't open the hood. You need to read the instruction manual. Go onto YouTube for a second. It's like you don't learn every model of car in school, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And but I think it's natural that like because we only have so many experiences to call on at the beginning of a relationship. So every single one of them we're analyzing and taking it apart and putting it back together. And what were your intentions and what do you mean and. So I think that there's a lot of that at the beginning, and you got to be careful, and you got to know, like, am I dramatizing the situation, or am I being, is this realistic?
You know what I say? 60, 70%. You meet someone, you like them, you find 60, 70% of what you like about them, stick with them, because you'll never find 100.
Depending on what is in that 30. There are certain things in that 30% that, I'm sorry, they're game changers.
I agree.
Even if you're 60, 70.
I agree. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Depends.
But
non-negotiables, right?
Yeah, the non-negotiables.
Yeah, but if you find someone that's, good and hopefully that 30% is, hopefully not too horrid, right? Where you can actually deal and like learn to tolerate and accept and understand, right? My mom told me one really good piece of advice. She told me whenever you meet someone, accept them for who they are as they are from day one.
Oh my God, preach.
Because you're not, you're not going to change them. Yeah. You're not going to change them. You're not going to change them.
Never. I hate when girls say that. When I even hear some of my friends say, oh, like, I'm going to change him. No, you're not, sweetie.
No.
Don't be delusional. Don't be
waste
delusional.
time.
Don't even try. Like they are people. When we grow up, we're fixated into our ways, and we're not going to change. I know that about myself. There's certain things about myself that will never change. Such as my high sex drive. There are things that will never change, and you have to get used to that. Like even in the bedroom, like I'm used to a certain amount of sex a day, and if you cannot provide me like 1 or 2 sessions a day, sweetie, bye bye. I can't hang. Like this is ridiculous. Like I had to have a standard when it comes to certain things.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I wish? I really wish we could, just like a dating app, how you can see an overview of a person. I would love to know an overview of their sexual, I don't know, like
we talked about
a chemistry or something. Like, okay, like what are your preferences? How many times a day? What do you like? What do you not like?
Oh, I would go beyond that.
Like, no, just like
I would go beyond that.
Yeah.
I want statistics. I want numbers. I want to know.
Okay, like what?
I want to know. Like as a woman, you don't want to know how big a guy's dick is. I mean, come on.
I do.
As a guy, do you not want to know certain like things about a woman? Like imagine that you could like pay a little extra on Tinder and you get access to all this other information. Like okay, and you get others who have to like vote and say yes, this is true. It can't just be you saying like I have a 12-inch dick. Like you got to get other women who are corroborating your story and say he does. I know personally, right?
Like an Amazon review.
Like a review.
Like an Amazon, because I think you have to purchase the product on Amazon to write a review.
That's what I think. And wouldn't that take so much out of it?
Yes, it would.
Out of
no surprises.
The no surprises.
I don't want a surprise.
We need to be on Shark Tank with this idea.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
There may be some PHI, HIPAA, personal health information issues with that kind of data.
That's true. That's so true.
But listen, you get a good lawyer.
But have you guys seen the show Black Mirror on Netflix?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
I think I've seen like an episode or two.
There's an episode called Nosedive with this beautiful woman with red hair, and she like lives this like virtual reality world in another world where like you have contact lenses, right, in an alternate universe. And with the contact lens, you look at people, and it's like Jurassic Park. You look at them and you can see like what their status is in life. There's what their ratings is like. Like 4 or 5 star.
Cool.
There's tiers, and I'm like, I think we're about to enter that era now with the Apple Vision Pro. Like I already see people walking around with the Apple goggles.
Yeah,
isn't that weird? This is happening.
I think we're kind of at the beginning of a technological, like we're going fast, and we're starting to go faster, and things like the new Apple Vision Pro and stuff like that are just new tools and ways for us to use all this data that we have in real life situations to like make it actionable. So the more we curate this data on everybody, the more valuable or the more invasive these tools will become.
I just wish we could see through our eyes. Like, I wish there was a contact lens where you could just look at someone and just be like, oh, 4 stars, big dick. Like, just A, B, C, line it up. Oh, has slept with this many partners. Just like, good ratings on Amazon. Like, just about a person. So you don't have to go in and waste your time.
The guessing.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate though. Okay. That 4-star rating. What if you're the one for that person? And those 4 stars.
Somebody for everybody.
No, but think about it. Let's say we have those contact lenses, okay, and you can see through, right? And you see a guy, okay, big dick, 4 stars, right? So maybe for the other girls,
he's a 10.
Yeah.
Maybe for you, he's a 10, but for those girls, he was a 4. Or that's a good point.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
So maybe
it just depends on your vision.
Maybe
you gotta
how you perceive people.
Love and dating is so complex.
Isn't it?
Have you guys on Netflix watched Indian or Jewish matchmaking?
No.
The show?
I've never
it's so interesting. It's so interesting. I highly recommend. Basically, they have a professional matchmaker and they match within, the person will come up, say, hey, I'm looking for this type of person, and she'll go out and find them in the world, right? And I think sometimes it would be so nice as an experiment, maybe if like my mom could pick out my next boyfriend.
Really?
I don't know. Why not? Why not?
Wow.
Would you be open to it?
I would not.
Not my mom.
Hell
No, my mom.
My mom has good
settle down with
taste.
the most random dudes. I'm like,
My mom
Where does
set
that
me up
come
with a
from?
couple
Like-
people over the years when I was single. And
really? How did that go?
How did that go? Yeah.
Were they blind dates?
Yeah, blind date situations, and it was just disastrous. I was like, Mom, do you even know me?
God.
Where did you find them?
She was a principal of a school in Staten Island, and one of them was one of the teachers at the school who was a divorced girl, and she's like, so you're tired, your energy, and I met her, and it was like, no,
I can't
she's
imagine
not
my
my
parents
speed
picking
at
out
all.
my partners.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
too
honestly, because I don't
picky.
share enough with my parents about those experiences for them to even be
about
able
what
to
you
educatedly
like.
do that.
Right.
I tell my mom everything. I'm so close. I feel like if anything,
I feel like girls and guys are different like that.
Yeah.
my mom, I would trust her. Like she knows she could go shopping for me, like pick out my clothes, everything. She could literally.
Really?
Yeah, she knows me very well.
My parents
She
don't
knows
want to
me
know
very,
everything.
very
Trust.
well.
My parents do not want to know everything. If I told them everything, it'd be like TMI times a billion. Like parents don't want to know their sons' stories.
There's
Girls are
certain
different.
things
though.
that I
Girls are
tell my
different.
mom because we're very close, me and my mom. And sorry if you're watching this right now, man, she's gonna kill me. But like, there's certain stuff that I tell her, and she's just like, "Oh my God, oh my God, like, are you serious? I'm like, it's so it happened. It's like, I've been doing crazy stuff. I told her I dated a porn star once. She was not happy with that. She was like,
No?
you got to leave him, girl. See, no good for you. He's seen multiple women. He could give you, she's Latina, if you can't guess. Peruvian woman. An angel. I don't know how I came out of her. I'm like the devil compared to her. But she's like, you cannot date him, bros. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's boundaries. There's certain stuff that I tell my mom, like, okay, I know like where to end the story.
Yeah.
I'll leave out that part of the story
Yeah.
when it comes to talking on the phone to your parents.
Well, yeah, I guess I wouldn't necessarily say I'm very explicit in details when it comes to my sex life, for example, right, with my mom.
Yeah.
But I am very open with my mom. So I have
That's
100%, yeah, I have 100% trust that she could probably find someone good. Or, because every single person I've brought around my mom, and this is not just dating, but friends too, for example, my mom's always been like, that girl, I don't know if she has good intentions for you.
Yeah.
8 months later, something happens. I'm like, how did she know?
Yeah.
How did
Mothers
she
have like
know?
that mother's intuition about
Yeah.
their kids. They're like, they don't play about their babies. It's
Yeah.
like they know.
They know.
who's-
Yeah.
They can read energies. It's true.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I believe in reading
So-
energies.
Yeah.
Maybe try to
Energies
kinda-
is a whole conversation, by
That's
the way.
another-
And it's such
that's
an
another
impacting.
episode.
It's a whole.
Energies
It's
to
really
unpack.
impacting. Yeah, we have got to unpack energy at some point. Not today. That's
Yeah.
a real
Another time.
big
Another time.
topic. But yeah, no, I think this is awesome.
Yeah, this is great.
This is really a nice little first. at
Yeah,
least
it's a nice.
for-
It's been like a therapeutic therapy session with you
Yes.
guys, and this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. We have to
So watch
unpack
it.
mommy daddy issues.
Oh,
and-
yeah, we have to dive into
and,
further
and
into
all
other
the
stuff.
choices that we
Yeah,
make
there's some
to
stuff we gotta
fuck
unpack.
ourselves up. And yeah, anyway, good times.
Good times.
Really good times. But to kind of start this thing into a landing, like Miami's not a real place. And I'm gonna just go back to it because I think everything that we've said here are really they exist in small little microcosms of the world.
Yeah.
They're Miami, they're New York, they're LA, they're Paris, they're London. They're not everywhere. However, 90% of Earth lives in the top 100 cities in the world. So we kind of insist on being real close to each other, which creates these environments that we're talking about. That has
Yeah.
created this level of imbalance and toxicity, and it's up to us to traverse this society and stick to our morals and our values,
Absolutely.
and regardless of what is going on out there, to do what's best for us and protect our peace.
love
And
that.
know ourselves and know what you're getting into and be eyes wide open at all times and be present while planning for the future,
Specifically in Miami.
specifically Miami.
I call it, I love living in Miami. Don't want to move. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. But I call it Scam City.
You know what they say, Miami is a sunny place full of shady people. But don't let that deter you. Stay on the course, sis, and keep it a moving.
That's right.
Because there's always gonna be the next person, the next friend. Like, you know.
Choose positivity.
Choose positivity is the.
Choose
I think
happiness.
that's the ending
Yeah.
message. That we
Choose
should
choose progress.
Choose progress. Choose to manifest whatever you're seeking.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that may be.
Yep.
Career-wise, love-wise, relationship-wise, and just continue to do you. Be authentically you, and I think the right people will come into your life, and that's that. That's all, folks. I think we should just end the
wrap.
episode on that. It's
I
a
think
wrap.
that's perfect.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day,
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day.
Be real.
Know
love
your worth.
yourself.
Right.
Know thyself,
Know
Yes.
thyself.
and keep it pushing. All right, babies.